It's freestyle. There is no conspiracy. You know what the conspiracy was? Unemployable freaks. So what does an unemployable freak that rides a skateboard do? They go and they work for skateboard companies. And they end up inheriting the industry. End of conspiracy.
And you just pivot 180 degrees.
So these freestyle dorks never fucking partied. They weren't partiers. That's why they run the fucking industry.
Hang on, Ronnie. We got some nutcase in front of us.
Man, he must be smoking some heavy doobies.
You want to really get pissed off? Sit down and fucking watch the Bones Brigade autobiography. Jesus Christ, what a fucking crock of shit that was.
And so when I look and I think of the contribution of all these geniuses and the smell and the browning paper of these dusty books that no one will read, I think that I am so rich and what I have done has meaning.
I'm not quite sure what we're talking about here.
Well,
I
just wanted to celebrate you guys, man. I just want to show footage of all you guys ripping. Is really all this is about.
And when you see a kid riding this high, you can't imagine how skateboarding could get any better. That is until you meet Rodney Mullen, the 1982 freestyle skateboarding champion.
The average person on the street usually looks at it and goes, oh, I see, that's interesting. But now they're kind of going, this is unbelievable. I mean, there's something here that we've never seen before.
That's what you do. You feed them the drugs, you get them hooked, you kill Vert, you throw it all onto the street, and you make your money.
No. I don't care that you made all the money. I don't care. You don't get to claim it as your own. It was everybody else's before it was yours.
The origins of street skating, though, street skating has been around ever since skateboard has been invented. I understand, obviously, the question, but I'm not going to accept that. Never will, never have, and will die with that belief.
You know why? Because Olson cares not.
Like, okay, but...
Even if you did make it up, you don't get to say you did. Jesus Christ. You have to wait for somebody else to say that.
And after working 2 hours a day and 6 hours on weekends, he's now the greatest skater in the world.
Now, for the first time, Rodney tells the incredible story of his ascent to fame as the #1 nerd in a sport where anarchy is often encouraged. He adapted to street skating and eventually became one of the most innovative and influential skaters of all time.
But dude, I lived with Rodney Mullen for a time down at, I think, Hermosa Beach, and we used to go and skate the pier with him every night, and that guy would put in a solid 3-hour session, and it was fucking gnarly. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just shredding his fingers and just, and, you know, and he would eat like the exact right amount of calories before he went skated to skate for 3 hours.
Everybody used to go watch fucking Rodney skate the freestyle contest because he was such a fucking freak. The dude never ever fell. So you kind of watched to see, it wasn't to see him win because you knew he was gonna win. He won every contest he entered. You watched to see if he made a mistake. That was the reason everybody, when they call, like, freestyle contest is going on, nobody's fucking watching. All of a sudden they call Rodney Mullen's heat and fucking the entire contest, they'd stop bowl practice and everybody would go down there and watch to see him take his runs. And Gonz would come down there because there was this big, like, kind of skate the banks with the curbs and stuff thing. He was the one that saw worth in it. He was the one that was trying to imitate what he saw Rodney doing. So if you're gonna fucking go to like ground zero, the bullet shot, I'm not really gonna give it to Rodney. I'm gonna give it to Mark. He's the one that adapted it.
To the banks and shit, yeah.
And to flat ground.
Mark Gonzales, your favorite, is one of the top street style competitors. Tell, for those people who don't know what street style is all about, can you tell us a little bit about it?
It's just skating on ramps and stuff, little obstacles, like mainly, I guess, just anywhere on the street.
What makes you one of the better street style skaters around?
I don't know. I just skate a lot.
Oh my God, the fear of freestyle. Consider yourself warned. Was anybody really afraid of it? I doubt it. Here we are, Stacy Peralta, Style Before Grace, LA. Style Before Grace, what does that even mean? Primo gets on it though. That's the actual quote. That's the caption. Primo gets on it, and he's just a sequence of him just jumping on his board in the air.
Before we get into Primo's run, let's visit Mr. and Mrs. Desiderio at work.
Good, it's gonna be a lot of laughs.
Primo and Diane Desiderio are not your average working couple.
There were the two guys that just kind of took it kind of as its own thing were Gonz and Natas. They just did whatever they wanted to because they could.
But you don't see Natas fucking wandering around saying, I invented street skating, and you sure as shit don't see Mark doing it.
I always thought Natas and Mark were really good, not opposites, but like style-wise, like Natas just fucking fought through gravity. Like he punched through gravity, you know, and like Gonz would just defy gravity.
When we went to the quarter pipe, we saw Natas there, and like when he came up to the quarter pipe, going up to the top, banged it, like hit it right off the top of that thing, and we're like, whoa, because you know his style is more from surfing.
I don't know. It's like it was important to see both sides like that, you know, like without Natas, you wouldn't have had a SHEFFEY. No, and I didn't ever see it as like a contest between the two or like one claiming credit for anything. I didn't know that Gonz got the kickflip from Rodney until years later. I didn't really think about that stuff.
You know, like Arto, near death at the bottom of the stairs in that video. I don't see a freestyler getting into that predicament.
Yeah, street skating took tons from freestyle, for sure, but I wouldn't call that street skating. You know, it's freestyle, right? It's different.
I mean, what's street skating? Something that the magazines built and the manufacturers built up so they could sell more product? That's the origins of street skating, what they all believe now. But street skating is riding in the streets. I mean, it goes hand in hand. You ride your skateboard on the street, you're street skating.
I always thought pools were street skating because you had to like skate to find a pool. Well, it's pre-driving days, you know, you're a kid. It's all like, how'd you get here? You skated. What do you do now? Still skating. How you gonna get home? Skate.
Eric Dressen, he was a street skater, right?
Well, yeah, but
Eric, where do you think street skating came from?
I don't know, for me it was just like leaving the house. When I was a little kid in the 70s, I'd leave the house, you know, skate the driveways around my house, pretend I was surfing, and then it turned into me wanting to skate pools, and then me pretending I wanted to skate a pool.
So it wasn't pretending you wanted to do your freestyle routine.
No, because I didn't like freestyle.
Just want to clear that up.
What's it gonna take to win a street style contest like this?
Not a street skater. Just somebody who can get as high as air as you can. And you can call that street skating, but I don't. It's all professional. I've never known a street skater to win a street contest yet.
So the industry decided to opt out and make it about street. Henceforth, street issues, general issues coming out of the Pal Peralta camp. The original Santa Cruz street skate, they were probably the first to do it. The Doug Saladino, his street cruiser, like the classic fucking DP downhill, Olson Wild in the Streets indie ad where he's just laying out and there's no way that he made it, but he totally made it. One of the raddest ads ever was the tracker ad of Rocco doing the invert off the fucking curb.
That's
one of the greatest ads ever made.
There's a famous story about like Stesic and him and Fausto were just like, we need to juice street skating. This is our thing now. And they just pushed the shit out of it and called it street style. I think they might have even came up with that term like at that moment or something. And I thank them for it.
You know what I mean? I don't know. It just seems, to me, it seems manufactured.
Like it's just forming, just trying to fucking figure out because skateboarding was so hurting and they had to get it to a wider audience.
The manufacturers, here's a quote, Fausto, anything, just doing what could be done in the streets.
It's freestyle and street style. And you can see fucking, here's Per Wielander doing his little fucking handstand. But then they mix it in with fucking Cooksey jumping off a fucking ladder, because that's raw dog shit.
I mean, they were bringing in like quarter pipes and jumping over picnic tables or cars or all that. I mean, is that street skating? And I just think really, well, the herd's leaving. You better catch up.
The 85 contest, all the street skaters are wearing helmets. 84, no helmets. 85, all helmets. We could pull from that between 84 and 85, someone decided that street skating was going to be the next thing. 1 year, same contest, they're wearing helmets the next year.
You want to talk about early street skating, I think about like Montague Banks, and I think about Ricky Windsor in Sacramento. You know, I think about shit like that, and the underground sessions at night with your friends and fucking beers and whatever, you know, like to me that was fucking street skating. I mean, about as far from fucking freestyle as you
like the
can
A
get.
Street band.
See, so it's just the commercial idea of street skating that you had the problem with, like the expectations of the commercial side, but that is street skating. Fucking a bank sesh with your friends.
Totally.
It was right around the same time they started making the movie Thrashing. Everyone started hanging out and going to Venice and stuff, and everyone just hanging around.
Beat it, you foul jerk!
And I had, for some reason, we always talked in the 70s about doing wall rides, but we thought it would be impossible. And I think I was like in this parking lot waiting for my friend, and I was like looking at the wall, I'm like, I could kick turn, and I did it. And then I went down to hang out in Venice, and they were doing it already and stuff. And it was just kind of weird, all this hang out down there. And there was a quarter pipe everywhere. There was everyone just trying to outdo each other. Oh, I can go higher. No, I can do higher. Whatever.
No, and all those guys in Venice, they just that was it. It was like jump ramps and the quarter pipe and the walls down there. And no one really got around. We go to the schoolyards, me and Natas. But yeah, SF was just all about just everything, hitting everything. So when I came back, it's like, see that bench over there? That's skatable. And you were like, what? And we just started skating things.
They freak out.
Yeah, it was fun. It was good.
The argument against the fact that street skating was birthed by freestyling, the main argument is rolling. Because freestylers generally tend to not roll, and street skating is rolling.
So, this has been The Letters. Thanks for watching. Head.
That thing?
Yeah, did you say? Yeah, you said a bunch of shit. My brother had a fucking Shogo Kubo Dogtown Airbeam. I cut it into a freestyle board. Biggest fucking 9-ball move I ever did. And it completely delammed and fell apart because the air beams were open. And there I was at Magic Mountain.
So you really hate freestyle. I mean,
I
that probably contributed to that.
I don't hate.
I'm not defending freestyle.
I don't.
I think that's the core of the fucking hatred right there, the fucking Shogo board.
I don't. That maybe.